One, you'll get lazy with. The big challenge gets you hungry.
Oh, how the tables turn.
That's a heavy topic.
And we need to focus on that. If not for yourself, then do it for your children.
Black book is in his back.
Black book.
Men talk, black book. What is up? As Kofi Sadat would say, family. What is up, family? And look at him wrapped so nicely in his blanket. OMG. And I don't want to make fun of my brother. I don't want to make fun of him. So I'm gonna shut my mouth. What is up?
I'm not joking. I'm not joking, bro. They told me that summer is still on, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So yeah.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe, your host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And the man is not feeling well. The man is not feeling well.
Listen, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to say with this weather, for those who are in Toronto, if you know, you know. If you're in Ontario, you know.
Yes.
Right? So I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I'm getting allergies this type of season. So we know that, the weather has gone a little bit wacky, but I'm here, man. I'm in good spirits. I'm wrapped up in my Maasai blanket straight from Kenya, a gift from my son. One of my sons. So, hey, I said, let me break it out today. It seems like It's a good day, but everything. How you doing, brother? How you hanging in there?
I am blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem. Excited to be here as always. But the weather today was nice. It's slowly getting up temperature-wise, but it's supposed to dive. I don't know if we're gonna get another heat wave between now and the end of this month. Don't know the next month, because this is the last day of August.
But not the last day, not the last day of summer, right? It's just the last day.
No. August, not summer. Two different tones.
Right.
Different tones. Give me a win since we last saw each other.
Yeah, you know what? I really want to. I had an experience yesterday. I was invited to go up to Adinkra Farm, which is New Lowell, aka close to Barrie, to do a workshop with some young people, some young leaders from the city, and it was just really nice to get out and just walk the 40 acres, Black-owned acres of land, just to kind of be there, and move with spirit. Because I was going to do the presentation inside, my PowerPoint and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you know what? Let's just sit outside in the sun and just have a discussion about life. And so I really want to say that's a win that I had, an unexpected win in terms of just like getting out. I don't usually plan to leave out the city, but it was great. I loved it, So again, at Adinkra Farms, I know it's open for folks who want to do things up there, but I really enjoyed just getting out into the country, the fresh air, the calmness, the change of direction. So I love that. What about yourself? What win did you have?
I don't know if I've mentioned this since keeping in line. You talked about Adinkra Farm there. Did I tell you that I made a trip to a farm that's Black-owned this summer? Have I mentioned that at all?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. So I've mentioned on other platforms, but because I haven't mentioned here, it's brand new. So a little backstory. I always talk about my dad because I love him dearly. And a number of years ago, he invited me to a friend of his was having their 50th wedding anniversary.
Nice.
Now, this is now 2 or 3 years ago, but when this couple first got married, he was the master of ceremonies.
Wow.
I just went, okay. So backstory, this gentleman, last name is Pinnock, I won't give his first name, him and his wife, he served in the Metropolitan Toronto Police Force for over 30 years.
Wow.
When he retired, he was a staff sergeant.
Mm.
They had the 50-year celebration at JCA, Jamaican Canadian Association.
Okay.
Now, here is huge things. There were some officers that traveled from he used to, I guess, oversee from Mexico to the event.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
And they asked my dad to give the first speech at their with the wedding anniversary. That's part one. So part two, my dad calls me about 3 years ago. Oh, like Mr. Pinnock's inviting us to his farm. I go, his what? I go, his farm. He says, oh, and actually, Mr. Pinnock is actually related to Jay Douglas. They're cousins.
Okay, nice.
All right. So the documentary that is out now, that was released about a year ago about Jay Douglas, was part of it was filmed on Mr. Pinnock's farm.
Wow.
So his farm is in Liscard, which from where you and I is about an hour and 15 minutes drive.
Yeah, yeah.
So we go out there. I'm going, this is crazy. I don't know. Before then, before Kwame and Janelle, I didn't know a Black person who owned a farm in this area here.
Yep. Yeah.
Go there and I say, so I'm just blown away. And he has about 150 people there, and he does every year. He just invites friends and family out, cook up, right? Say, Mr. Pinnock, I know you're doing this right now, but can I just steal some of your time? Can you just drive me around your farm?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, get in the truck.
Yeah.
For 45 minutes, he just drove me around, and he said, you know something? My wife and myself, as far as you can see, we own this land.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful.
And 3 or 4 days a week in the summertime, he still lives in Toronto. He gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, goes, works on his farm, and then comes home the same evening.
Wow. No, that's remarkable, especially because, again, we don't own a lot of land, or publicly we don't know that we own a lot of land, right? So that's excellent to know. Well, and that's dedication to know that he's still doing that. But that's great.
And I asked him, before we go break, two more things before we go to break. So he said, first of all, he said, and he looked me straight in his eye, said, I have never been on this property with a woman unless my wife was with me. I just went, wow.
Good advice. Good advice.
Why? And then second of all, I said, hey, if I ever wanted to maybe rent out this place, he says, no problem. Just tell me. There's where the keys are. I didn't do it this summer, but I have to chat with him because we went to the annual event this year, and I don't eat corn a lot, but the corn that was freshly picked from his farm, out of bounds.
Wow.
I have to. So I'm planning to go up there again because my dad says, I want some more. That goes, well, Dad, let's just go up, get up early in the morning, do a drive out there, come back home by noon, we're good. And then I'm going to press Mr. Pinnock again and say, hey, if I wanted to have an event here, what would it take? And I would just maybe, there's a lot of thoughts going on in my mind, but I just say maybe invite a whole bunch of people for a day on the farm.
Love it. Love it. Hey, I'm there. My hands are up, man. I'm good for that.
I want to do. I've been doing a lot of reflecting because of events around me and in me lately, and I want to do something of that magnitude.
I love it. And listen, getting out, like I said, getting out into the country, the fresh air,
the fresh air,
it just shifts your whole way of being. So I definitely hear that. Yeah, man. Let's do it next summer. Let's put it in the universe.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna lay the foundation now.
Right.
And I think that idea gets to this. I think it gets to this. I think it got approval.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Oh, wow. So we've got some people already in the house, but what we're going to do is we're going to go for a little bit of a break. Then we're going to do some homework, housework. And then it's back to school time in this part of the world. Okay. So we'll just have a conversation about back to school, and we'd love to get others' input. And there's a way you can, of course, you can always put your comments. But starting last show that we did, you can call in using either your smartphone, your desktop, your laptop, your tablet. And we did have someone come in last time. So the option is there. So we'd like to have people more engagement. But before we do anything further, we're going to take a break. Good morning. Good morning. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show.
My name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network.
It's Carolyn Nicole time. She is here to make us better.
In 15 minutes, you could accomplish so much for your health. This is where we have our morals, our values, our decision making.
I don't know if Wayne Harris is still here because he's probably gone by now, but I got to tell Wayne about that because he'll go, what? All right. They call it the Morning Vibe, Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. And you can come check us out on the Morning Vibe if you wish. So we didn't do it properly this time. Welcome to Black Men Can Talk, a show where Black Canadian men come together to have real, unfiltered conversations about life, culture, and community. Also, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Yes, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. And if you want to advertise your business product or service on the platform, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And also, if you want to join our Discord group, please email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And I think, you know what we'll do? We'll do this. So if you've got a question or a take, you can join the conversation via this. So if you have smartphone or you're at a laptop or desktop or a tablet, you can go to callme.road.com. Or if you have your smartphone with you, you can swipe the QR code and it'll take you to a screen. And what you need to do is put in the code in capital letters FSPL8L. There's a code already in there. All you have to do is just type in this code and then put in your name. And you'll see a green indicator come up, join the call. And when then you can just come on in and you can join via audio the conversation. So looking forward to having at least one person join in today if they'd like to contribute. We also have some people in the house already. Black Nerd Talks, salute. Just got home in time for this. Appreciate that. The only way is in the house. He also says, I'm listening. Nice commercial, thank you. And he also acts Black Nerd Talks, you good Black Nerd Talks. So this is good. We already got communication, but hey, you can call in if you want.
There you go.
So today, and
hopefully folks call in.
If you'd like, I'd like to get your perspectives, but we've got some things we can share. I got some takes for today's conversation. And today's conversation is about parents. Let's get back to school on Black Men Can Talk. So what are your thoughts kicking off this, Paul?
You know what? There's this Staples commercial. I believe Staples, it says it's the most wonderful time of the year. And all the children are sad to go back and the parents are celebrating. I think it's a great time. I think it's always like a time for new beginnings, not just for the young people, but for us as parents, preparing for a different type of journey. As for myself, my youngest is in his last year of high school, and my second youngest is in her first year of college.
Wow.
Right. So, one's ending a journey, one's beginning a journey. Right. So I'm so happy to embrace both sides of it, and to see where it goes. But even as a parent, definitely it's a different stage and different things to expect, just kind of the message to those who are preparing for their last year of whatever. It could be high school, university, college. Just a message of embracing and reflecting on where your journey has gone. And for parents, I would just definitely say that be open to the journey. Whatever it is. We can't necessarily live life for our children, but it is what it is. They gotta find their path in life, but it's exciting, and there's and I'll speak a little bit more, just around a black man with children in the school system, both in the public school system and in post-secondary. So yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
I see some comments
Yeah,
coming up.
Black Nerd Talk says, I dreaded, in capital letters, dreaded those Staples and Walmart commercials, but it was because I had undiagnosed learning challenges.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Struggled with school until summer school. Had this conversation with my wife
Mhm.
the other day. Okay.
Yeah, and and again, I saw a lecture by Dr. Joy, and she was talking about, she does a book called Slavery, Post
Post-secondary
Traumatic
slavery
Slave
system.
Syndrome.
Is that Joy DeGruy?
Yeah, to Goose, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And what she was talking about was, when parents themselves have experienced, particular challenges like Black Nerd Talks is talking about, in school and whatnot, how it impacts um, our own openness to engage with the educational system when it comes to our children. So if we had a bad experience, then often, you're not going to be the parent that's going to be coming in, or, you're going to be more cautious, and more, looking out to say, hey, same thing doesn't happen to my own children. Right. And I thought it's definitely, especially, a lot of us who experienced, a challenging time in school, not because of the work, but because of the environment or the racism or whatnot, we can be, kind of like stand backish because we're like, okay, you know what? Yeah, it wasn't the best environment. So I don't find myself comfortable in that environment. Right. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I did a little bit of research and, putting some questions out there for people who are watching live or on the replay. And maybe Sadat, you may want to jump in and like for parents who have kids going to school, what does a successful school year look like for your family beyond the grades? Is it all just about the grades? Because some of the best learning in school, it doesn't happen in the book, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree.
And how do you center joy, rest, and identity in from affirmation in the back to school plan? And earlier on today on Black Canada Talking, Cesar Nadima Musa, he does 3 things with his little daughter every night, and one of the things is affirmations.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah,
Every night, affirmations. And I'm not gonna quote, but I'm Black, I'm beautiful, and I'm proud. I think those are three of the many words
right
that he uses, and she gets her to use during those affirmations.
Yeah, and that's powerful. I'm even reflecting because I think, for some of us who are coming up, we kind of got, the opposite of that. So you got to be twice as good or twice as smart as the white person, right? So we started off on that negative tip, right? So it's great to know that positive affirmations kind of arm your children when they're going into school with, with blessings, with positivity, so they feel that they can do what they can do and learn and show up in a positive way. So I think that's great. Yeah, it's an interesting piece, but when I was a student, I'm reflecting, and you're a student as well. I learned a long time ago that there wasn't anything as a smart student versus a student that's dumb. And I say that because it was all about memorization. So no matter what you knew or demonstrated or really understood about what you're being taught, the person who could memorize the facts, the times, the dates, the places, and get 90% on the test was deemed to be smart versus the student that, could have had an insight, or even, I'll say my own personal case, because, a pushback, critical thinking, saying, that doesn't sound quite right. Let's examine that further. That wasn't rewarded in the school system as I came up. And I know, it's still a challenging thing because a lot of Black students are being, suspended or expelled at a higher rate than their counterparts. But I think a lot of times there's no room for critical thinking, and there should be more room for critical thinking. So I never would judge myself or my children or other children. I work with a lot of young people on the grade, right? Or the grade alone, because that's not always an indicator of your level of understanding of what you're learning, right? Yeah.
I
So
agree. I agree 100%. And, there've been some comments here. Donway, let me just say, says, you never heard the only way? You never heard of Substack? Well, I'll put it short. Think of a YouTube channel for writers. So it's the YouTube for writers. Now, a lot of people, especially how the media industry has changed, a lot of fairly well-known people have Substack accounts, do a lot of writing. They do some of the media stuff. So I've been on there for a little bit. So that answers that question. He says nice. I don't know nice what you're saying nice to, but also says, let's give it the acronym BBP. What's BBP acronym? I know we've mentioned. What does that mean? You need to give me a little bit more, there's a bit more background on what you meant by that. So yeah, that is, yeah, we'll go with that so far. What does BBP mean? And also he says, okay, yeah, so you got what Substack's all about. What we want to know is what's BBP. I also want to, I've got a long list of things here. We could have like a 4-part conversation about this. But I also want to say to parents, do you have a daily nighttime routine? Or, how easy, do you have a routine? That obviously it's a summertime. It's probably going to take some time for you to get back into that routine.
Right. Well, I think even for those who can, like pushing that to the morning, I would have loved to see, some type of affirmation to prepare, students for their day. And let's face it, parents also need it, so making sure that you have an affirmation for yourself that will, allow you to have your positivity and your openness, because school can be a challenge. It can be a challenge. It can be a blessing too, but there are things in the school year that can challenge you.
Okay, so the only way says, you just said Black, Beautiful, Proud. I just gave it an acronym. Okay, BBP. I love that. Okay, BBV. All right, I can work with that. Okay. Another suggestion I could put out there, and these are just suggestions, is we already talked about, name one boundary you'll proceed this year to keep family peace.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, it's because there's so many things, but I think one of the things is, like I said again, to allow your children to, what I call, make the good mistakes. You know what I mean? So we often want them to make no mistakes or protect them from any of those challenges, but I think it's necessary that they make the good mistakes, and one can determine what the good mistake is, right? So for example, always getting on them to do their homework. And you talked about the balance of what else is good. What else can we celebrate, or do we see as success? So maybe, them doing something else positive in community, or for self, or for the family, and not necessarily always just rushing them to do their homework, right? And seeing that A or B or whatever is just the only goal. So I think in terms of the boundaries, allowing them to make those good mistakes, because they will make mistakes and there will be challenges. So I think that will be something that I would probably, try to have some boundaries, and I'm not always trying to intervene and quote unquote make them what I believe is always the right thing when it comes to their education.
Again, you are watching Black Men Can Talk with myself, Dr. Vibe, and Kofi, wrapped up
Wrap up.
Wrapped up.
I'm wrap up in my side, just in case for those who are just tuning in. I'm in my side, so you know.
All right. And I
Yeah.
know there's some people watching live. Hey, if you want to call in and either give us memories of you in your school days, or even things that, you know, if you are a parent or a caregiver and you're seeing some of your people go back to school, we'd love to hear you come in on the conversation. As
Yeah.
always, if you're using web browser, callme.road.com, or if you have a smartphone, swipe the QR code. It'll then take you to a page. Put in your name, put in the code. A lot of people go, oh, there's a code out in there. Don't worry, just type in the code in caps, FSPL8L, and it'll say join the conversation. I'll be able to bring you in live via audio. So we'd love to get your takes on this. Got a comment here. The only way says simultaneously speaking to women on my big screen. They're going through it right now in the US. That is true, but we got our focus on here, which also from a Black man's perspective, if you have kids going to school, and depending what age group they are, especially if they're in public or primary school, developing a relationship with teacher and principal.
Yeah.
Making sure that you have presence there, because I've ran into situations where school administration doesn't think the father exists.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think and that's the thing. If for those who are listening, right? Like if there's any particular challenges like that you want to share that we can talk about, you know, feel comfortable to phone in if you want. But if not, just put it in the chat. But yeah, definitely, you know, the non-existent or Black father in the school system continues to be a challenge, whether you are there or not. You know, but the opposite. Not the opposite, but I've seen the other end of it. You know, that some sisters have told me about that. You know, the school system doesn't take them serious sometimes, so they've had to bring in a friend and say, "Hey, this is a dad, and this is for single mothers," right? So it's funny how the pendulum kind of swings. That you know, once you're there, you know, you're taking a little bit more serious, but the assumption is that you're not there, right? So it's a very interesting piece right there.
Another aspect too is providing support for, I would call them transition students. And what do I mean? If your child is going from kindergarten to grade 1, if your child is going from grade 6 to grade 9, if your child is going from grade 9 to high school, if they're going to high school, from high school to college or university, that's transition time.
Yeah.
They're being introduced to new people, new environments. What do you have in place? What can you do to make that transition easier?
Yeah. It's interesting that you're mentioning this because what I was doing on the weekend at a Dinker Farm, I was doing a presentation on rites of passage. And the critical piece about rites of passage is acknowledging the transition of life from one stage to the next. So, you know, for example, going from a child to an adult and making sure that we're clear with what our expectations are and being able to let our young people know that. So again, those transitions you're talking about, moving from something as simple kindergarten to grade 1, or college, high school to college, whatever, are we clear as parents around what our expectations are? Are we listening to what our children are saying is happening? Because sometimes our expectations don't align necessarily with what's happening today. You know what I mean? So, but I think more important than anything else is to be clear, right? What our expectations are. Hey, you're becoming a big boy or a big girl or whatever, and this is what the expectations are. With the next level and what we expect to happen, right? I was just having a discussion with my daughter today, who's, I said, going to college, and just kind of sharing some of the experiences around, when you're there now, it's not like high school when if you don't show up, the teacher's going to call your parents, right? They got your $3,000 or whatever, if you don't show up, that's on you. They don't really care. In fact, they may not even know your name. So even advising them about those transitions, between one level and a higher level, whatever that may be, is important for parents to have with their children.
The only way, thank you for continuing to contribute here. Says my daughters and I do the best I can with my daughters. All are out of high school. Babies are coming out like rabbits, multiply. He said, I can't even count the grandbabies without really stopping to think. Oh my God.
Listen, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it sounds like your daughters are past that high school stage and whatnot. So yeah, I mean,
Well,
enjoy the blessings.
well, so the only way you should come on here. You got some experience, brother.
It sounds that way.
You got some experience in the game.
Yeah, sounds that
What?
way.
What? I
Sounds
mean,
that way.
we need to hear from you. We need to hear from you. So I'm going to provide some other suggestions, and what I may do,
Go ahead.
maybe to drive some people to our Discord page. Here's some other things that, and I want to go back to the whole thing about making your press. I'm speaking from a Black man perspective. Claim your role, right? Tell teachers and staff you're a primary contact. Include your email and phone number on all forms. And I can't tell you how many fathers have told me about this, that they're not listed as a main contact.
100%. 100%.
You've got to do that. You have a right to do that, unless there's some reason you're not able to. Tell them that you are a main contact.
Yeah, yeah. I'm almost laughing inside for one reason.
Okay.
My experience in the school system, me and my wife, is that we always joke. So every year she tries to put me down as the main contact, and
Interesting.
she's been changing it for years. Somehow it
Wow.
always reverts back to her as the main contact. Right? I don't know
Wow.
why, but that has been our experience in the school system. So, yeah, put your name. Make sure that you're one of the contacts and be involved. I'm gonna say the other stuff to fathers, uncles, community fathers, anyone who has a care and a vested interest in the success of of the children. What I mean? Be involved. Ask questions. What I mean? Don't wait till it's almost the end of the year and it's like like a last ditch effort to get the grades up and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Talk about it. What kind of relationship do they have with their teachers and administration, right? Like
True.
like have that general interest, because more time if you have that conversation about that relationship, you'll figure out what's going on, right? Because it's hard to learn when you don't have a good relationship or with for children, and parents,
100%.
with the teachers or administration.
The only way you need to come on and give us some Black parenting thoughts, because you got more comments here saying oldest always needs money. Love her. And she goes, trying to make her pay the guys for their children. I don't even want to go there. I don't want to go there. That's TMI conversation right there. Another thing I want to suggest to our Black men with their kids going back to school, share, lead with strengths. Share your child's interests, culture, and wins. Set the tone that your child is seen and supported.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And also, our brothers, affirm yourself, right? You belong in every school space, PTA, conferences, group chats. Your presence shifts outcomes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put something out there because maybe you might be able to give some advice, or maybe someone out there. So what if, as a father, just say you're not with the mother of your child,
Mhm.
and you're finding it difficult to access the school system, in particular, what's going on with your child. Um, what kind of advice could we have for somebody who's in that particular, predicament, right? Like it's not, it's one thing to say to do it, but if there's a block, how do we navigate those conversations?
Yeah, that's a really tough question. And you and I have encountered, not directly, but indirectly through others about that. I think
Hmm.
first things first is having that conversation with the partner
Hmm.
and see, and this is a whole show in itself. We're just giving a thumbnail, but see if you can agree on parenting styles, whether you're together or not. If you're not together, it's even more difficult. But I would say, and this is so deep. This good to have would be good to have a family lawyer on this. But I would say that the minimum you should ask for is with the school system is, and again, it all depends on circumstances, making sure you're part of that contact list.
Hmm.
Being part of that contact list is really, really important. And again, may not always come to fruition.
Right.
I think that's a place. And if that's not possible, I would say contact organizations or people like myself and Paul to see if there are other ways we can make that a more positive and fruitful outcome.
Right.
Now,
Right.
there may be situations where the partner doesn't want you to be involved, period. That then goes to legal stuff. That's beyond my pay grade.
Right.
But if you have an amicable relationship, at least let's see if you can agree on parenting styles and also getting your name on that contact list. Because you wouldn't want to be coming up in an emergency. You go to the school and say, we can't tell you anything because you're not on this list.
Yeah. Which is good. And I would say maybe in addition as well, coming back to, like, hey, go to administration respectfully and identify who you are in relationship to the child, and that if it's possible, you want to have access in those conversations with their teachers,
Sure.
right? Because a lot of times, to be honest, a lot of teachers have approached and they really um, are looking for more parent engagement,
They are.
right? So a good teacher would never say no to a parent around, hey,
100%.
let me know what's going on, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. They want you to know, because it's going to make their job easier, especially when they know that the child knows that you're speaking to their parents. Then that relationship will be vastly improved. I guarantee you, because they're like, hey, I know your teacher. I can pick up that phone anytime, and vice versa. Teachers can pick up their phone and say, hey, Mr. Osborne, your son, daughter, whoever is doing great. It's not always bad news, right?
All right. The Only Way says, I'll have to share this broadcast. Hope they listen. Thank you. We appreciate that. He also says, my daughters listen, even though mom doesn't want them to. and he says, hope the dads listen. Let's hope to. They can't listen if we don't put it out there.
Yeah.
Right. We got to put it out there. I'm also going to put some tips and share them on the different platforms right now, but I'm also going to put up a banner and we can also discuss this. So let me just do this quickly.
All right. Do you think?
Yeah. Here's something that can be done right in the first week. Introduce an introduction email to the teachers. 5 sentences: who you are, your child's strengths, what works, any supports needed, and best way to reach you.
Oh, I love that. This is solid.
Right? Short email
Listen,
to the point. And that's also now to in the comments section on all the most of the platforms here. And I'm just taking some bullet points and putting some stuff on the screen to make this actionable. Right?
Hey, listen, you can go old school and just type that all out, put it in your child's backpack, or give it to your child in their hand and say, hey, give this to Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah,
So
give them.
so.
Yeah, you can go to school and do it that way. Here's another one: save key dates, curriculum night, conference windows, testing weeks, sports, clubs, tryouts. I would also include any field trips.
Yeah.
If you can go,
you
on
can
a
always
field trip.
volunteer for these trips too. I recognize on the forums, I'm not saying everywhere, but usually there's a section that says would you like to volunteer? Most kids don't love it, right? Because they don't want to see their parents on a trip. But to be honest with you, if you have that interest, yeah, why not? You know, volunteer for the
Yeah,
trip.
it would be a real statement to families
Yeah.
on, do that, like,
Especially as Black men and Black parents, right? When you show up to school, and those trips and stuff like that, what I mean? It's really just sometimes even, for your children, it could give a sense of confidence, but also when it comes to, the administration and the teachers, there's an affirmation being like, yeah, there's an involved parent that, is volunteering their time to come out and support not just their child, but, all other children as well. So yeah, if you can volunteer,
yeah.
why not?
Man, I feel like I'm on a roll. I'm going to put up another take here.
Go ahead.
Ask smart questions early, right from the beginning. What's the grading policy? If there are any tests, if they don't do it, can they be retaken? Reading lists, big project timelines, how to get extra help.
Ooh, yeah. And I would even say for post-secondary, I think this is even more
Right across the
necessary.
board.
Yeah, but I think especially at this level, the higher level for me, I would say it's more necessary because, especially that last one, how to get extra help, is something that, a lot of us don't do good enough or enough.
Yeah, we don't do it for ourselves.
Listen, I remember an experience that I, when I was in university that I had that, I was not used to this, coming from high school, but, other students used to hang out with the professors outside of class and get help outside of class, right? And when I say hang out with the professor, he's like, hey, I'm going down to whatever pub, what I mean? Come out and hang, have a drink. And of course, I'm going to tell you, like a lot of us I'm going to say in my experience, as Black students, we're like, I don't think I'm going to hang out and have a drink with my professor, or like, what I'm saying? That's not something we're comfortable. But what I ended up finding out, because I did go one time, he invited us to his house to have some dinner and chat, is that similar to how the golf course, there's a lot of decisions that are made, a lot of offers in business and positions and stuff like that. So those are the things away from the work environment. When he went to his house, he was like, yeah, this is what I do. And if you want to do better in this section of the course, you should do this and that. So a lot of the information that we weren't getting, other folks were getting that information. So I'm not saying, hang out and have a pint with your professor, but that whole piece around getting extra help, you would be surprised the amount of folks that are out there that are there, are getting paid to support you. But a lot of us, we don't, for many reasons, we don't either know, or we might feel a way about, getting that extra help. Hey, get the extra help.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Got a nice comment here from Black Nerd Talk. Says, my parents, especially my mom, told me to take up space, ask questions for help, and my colleague professor told me the importance of building relations with my professors and teachers. Critical.
Yeah.
I'm beginning more and more to say the greatest investment you make in your life is your relationships.
Yeah.
No matter what level you are in life or what part of your journey.
Yeah.
Yes, you can make investments in the stock market, but the investment you have with people, is going to make you or break you.
100%. And I think, honestly, I don't know if this is the current thing, but I know in terms of culturally, we are not socialized to really be hanging out with your professors and whatnot, which I would say is interesting too, because we're used to coming from communities where we're familiar with our educators. So they would live in your community. You could see them on the road. You know what I mean? You could see them in the rum bar, whatever it is. No, really, that's the reality. You could see them in town buying some food. So because we don't have that relationship with our teachers from, young, we really don't see the importance of cultivating those relationships. right? Because we don't see them in our community. So but I think that once you enter that post-secondary phase in particular, I'm saying, um, you know, take the time to actually cultivate those relationships, because there are folks that are there, could be TAs or whoever, that are actually there to support your work.
Yeah, I back 150% what you're saying there, especially in post-secondary. Relationships are even more critical, especially with your professors. Especially with your professors. I love it. The only way, and Black Nerd Talks are going back and forth in a good way here. The only way says sometimes there's not a question, but a statement. Girls will come to their reality through time, advance quicker than boys. Yeah, I think clinically, girls develop mentally quicker than boys, and this is why we got to push to make sure that those questions are asked, whether by them or by the caregiver or parents. Black Nerd Talk says, I would say, from an immigrant mindset, we're told to minimize
Of
ourselves,
course, yes,
tell the young ones to stay quiet unless spoken to. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
For sure. And I'll say this, because I think there's always a historical context in the common, phenomena. And, there, I guess maybe for our parents' generation, or maybe older, shrinking and not being as loud and not rattling the bones might have been a safety thing, right? That's how you stay safe. Stay low, stay safe. But
Cause no trouble.
yeah, exactly. But in this day and order, it may not serve us as well, because then you get passed over for things. And when you are supposed to be advocating for yourself, you don't feel comfortable in doing that, right? So I agree with Black Nerd. Definitely has an impact on us. But yeah, man, we're here. We're loud. We're Black men talking.
There you go. The only way says, meaning society has an influence. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Black Nerd Talk says, and that manifests in the classroom. Asking questions brings attention to yourself, which is what immigrants try to do.
Yeah.
All right. Got another little suggestion here we're going to put up. Let me just go here banners wise. Address, and these, unfortunately, it's going to happen. Address biases early, document and calmly. Document incidents, use facts, propose solutions, and escalate if needed. Teacher, counselor, AP, principal, bring an ally if meetings get tense.
The other thing I would say, and maybe, and it's not always an option for people. And kind of like, even on a side note, because I wanted to push this as well, I'm watching the documentary Katrina.
Yes.
On Netflix. I was watching, I have to get back to, but one of the parts they were talking about, people saying like, hey, the storm's coming, that you should leave. But not everybody has that option. Not everybody has the means. Not everybody has a car. Right? And why I'm going to loop it back into this whole piece is, the advice that I've often given to parents, is that if your child is in an environment that's either toxic or stifling their growth, or that's impacting you in a negative way, sometimes you have to weigh whether or not that school environment makes sense for the mental wellness of your child, not just the education piece. It doesn't matter if it's a top school, but the wellness of your child. And often, we, or some, not often. So sometimes we're in these environments that are not the most healthy for ourselves and our children. So sometimes we get them. If we have options, I always say look into options, because you don't want your child battling every day. And some of these things, like you say, it could be the bias, the racism. It could be, the teachers that are not invested, in your child's particular success, right? So you have to weigh those things and recognize, does it make sense to stay in this environment? Or do I look at something that's going to support the wellness of our family environment? So that's the other thing I'm going to say, right? Like, if you have an opportunity, because we don't always have that. Sometimes there's that one local school. or as parents, it's the most convenient because it's attached to daycare, and stuff like that. But if you can't navigate those challenges, it might be time to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Black Nerd Talk says another issue with pedagogy is that the majority of pre-K to high school is mostly feminine, and most WW and studies show they target more behavioral issues. Understood where you're coming from.
Yeah.
The only way says, where are the immigrants, Canada or United States? Don't understand. Where are immigrants? They're all over the place in both countries, especially in this one.
We're everywhere.
We're all over the place.
They are.
Okay. Here's a good question. The only way says, my question or American Pie wasn't biased. It's just that there's a difference. I've been to Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't a bias. We didn't take it as a bias, but
Mhm.
there are a lot of immigrants in this country. There are some sectors of this country that prize themselves of the diversity in this country. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. What other things can we pick up? Oh, and I think this is great for you, Kofi, because you can maybe speak to this, at least in the GTA area. Find Black-led programs, barbershop book clubs, STEM arts organizations, or faith-based youth groups.
Yeah. Put that up. Do you have the advice?
I'm going to bring it up right. I'm going to put it up right now.
Yeah.
For the family. So we're doing some extra stuff here. Just bam. There we go.
Yeah. So, what I would add to this, I mean, this is all great. I think it's great. I think we definitely, so your child and yourself, your whole people, right? So just engaging in the education system alone, is not enough. So yeah, find Black-led programs. Shout out to folks like ATCHA here in Toronto, and other programs that support, Black-led programs, African-centered programs that make our children feel good about who they are. It could be a dance program, could be a drumming program. This could be a STEM program, as you said. A lot of Black boys learning code. A lot of good programs out there. So make sure, and faith-based groups. So make sure that they're engaging in those different groups, because it creates a certain balance, right? And I will say, also, and this is where parents can play a great role. Advocate for, if there are good community groups or good community people that are doing things, advocate them to come into the school system, right? Because our children are in the school system for 9 to 3 or whatever it is, and often there are great works that are happening in community where many students can benefit, including the administration and the teachers and the whole school environment. So for those folks who want to bring in some positive people into the schools, do that as well, because not everybody's going to benefit with doing these things outside of school. But if we got them from 9 to 3, it's a captive audience, and it's great to bring in some positive speakers and people who can influence your children. So you can advocate that, and if you don't see it, ask the administration, hey, why are we not seeing, particular mentors come in? Maybe there's a challenge with, like Black Nerd said, it could be a situation where, it's all female staff, right? Or it might be white male staff or other, but the population of the school is like heavily Black, right? So where are the Black mentors? You can call in Dr. Vibe. He'll come do things at the school.
I'd love to.
Okay, all right.
I would love just to come in and hang out, and I would learn as much as they would learn.
Yeah, advocate. It's important. Like I said, my children had a unique experience because they went to an Afrocentric school. So they saw people that look like them normalized
every day.
So I want to give a shout out to some of the folks out there some of the teachers that I know and administrators, you know, Dale Sawyer, Mr. Bayou, you know, principal at Churchill, you know, and these are Black men, right? You know, Hezi, I know you're going into the school system, so I want to give you your flowers. I met a brother yesterday, Michael Malcolm, who's
I
working.
know him, Mike Malcolm.
I know you know him.
My dad. Okay, so here we go again.
Yeah,
His parents are like this with my dad.
yeah.
His father, Barry Malcolm, is longtime friends with Jay Douglas. So it goes way. I
Way
know
back.
Mike
Yeah.
Malcolm for years.
Yeah, he was part of the organization when I was doing that work at a Dinker farm, and he's like, "You look familiar." I'm like, "Yeah, you look familiar too." But long story short, he was telling me he does some work in the educational field and stuff
Yep.
like that. So yeah, man, I'm gonna, you know, listen, even on the replay, let's you know, give flowers to you know, Black men that are in the school system that are doing the
Mhm.
things that are holding it down. You know, yo, straight
Yeah.
up, we got to give them their flowers, right? So yeah, I want to name some of the few that I know of. I'm sure there's a lot more, but yeah, I want to give some flowers to those folks, right?
You know,
Greetings, Ryan. How you doing?
oh, Mr. Ryan Knight, was the only way to say I was speaking about where Black Nerd Speaks is an immigrant from and what country he's living on. Well, he's living now in Canada. I don't know where he is from. I know the only way you live in the US. Yes. Ryan Knight. Good greetings, Mr. Knight. Greetings, Mr. Knight. Black Nerd goes shout outs to Mr. Bayou. I worked in that community for years.
Yes,
And the boys, now men, all speak highly of him.
That's right. And he went from being a teacher to now he's the principal.
Wow.
Or the vice principal. So, you know, it's important to have, you know, in the education system, have Black men in powers of leadership, because we don't see a lot of that for our young boys and young women, and just
well, look at this. Tonight comes in a good time. Says, you know, we are planning to do some outreach to schools. I will follow up with you.
All right.
And it goes about youth mentorship program.
Listen, we got 2 minutes. You know, if Ryan wants to call in, pull it up, man. Let him know.
Well, he knows how to call in, because he was the first person to call in on a show. He was the first person.
All right.
He was the first, and we got Shakoy saying, "Big up, Benjamin, Love Music Initiative."
Yeah.
Black male in education program. Shakoy, why don't you call in?
This is it.
I would like one of you. You know, I put the challenge. I would like one of you two to call in. You say, "Well, Ryan knows how to call in, but if you don't, this is how you call in."
Yeah. Big up Benjamin for real, doing, you know, educational music.
Whether you're on calling in. So if you're on a browser, no matter desktop, laptop, whatever, smartphone, tablet, put callme.ro.com, or you can swipe and get the QR code. Will take you right to the site. When you get to the site, put in the code FSPL8L. Don't worry about the code that's already in there. Just type that in. You'll get, and then put your name in and say, join the conversation. So I'm putting a personal challenge out to either Ryan Knight or Shakoy to call in now, or Black Nerd Talks, or The Only Way.
I didn't know.
All right, The Only Way. Black Nerd Talks says, my dad is from
Nigeria.
Mom is born in, and mom is Trinidadian, born in Montreal, Canada. Shakoy says, let me try. Yes, please try. The Only Way says, thumbs up. All right. Let's see, because I know this works.
Uh-oh.
So we're waiting on you, Shakoy, to bring this, or
Well,
Ryan.
You can both
Here
come
we
in.
go. Hold on. Uh-oh. Shakoy.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, hey, Dr. Vibe, you're echoing, but
No, it's not on my end. It's her end.
okay.
Sorry, because I have the show playing on my phone. I'll just turn that down all the way.
There you go.
All right. Let's see if we can get the echo. Yeah, so that should say, people, if you're calling in, if you have the show on, well, either on your phone and you're calling through another device, mute one of those devices.
Yeah.
But it works. Nothing on my end though.
Yes. How does it sound on my end now?
Testing. I'm still getting echoing.
It's all good.
It's all good. Yeah, it's good.
Hold on. Am I echoing?
About now, I think I tried to change something.
Yeah. Am I echoing? No,
You're echoing on her end.
Okay. All
Oh
right.
no, you
All
guys
good.
both sound good to me.
Wow,
Okay.
this
Well,
is
that's good. Koi, how you doing? Been a long time.
Yes, I'm doing good. I'm happy to tap into the show and just hear more about the Black educators, especially the males, and the importance of them in the school system. I just did a camp this summer that was full of young Black men or young Black boys, and it
Nice.
really just showed me about like the importance of more Black male leaders, like and how much we really need them.
Nice. What was the camp about? How you doing?
It was about like connecting them with dance and writing, ages 6 to 12.
Nice.
Connecting them with like their African roots and just their connecting them with the ability to actually gain the confidence to dance and speak.
Ooh, love it. Is it still going on, or was it just
No, it's just for the summer,
okay?
but it was with CAFCAN, so they're always doing various great programs. So if no one's aware of them, definitely tap into CAFCAN.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Shaquai, I'd like to say thank you for your continuous support.
Yes, my pleasure. Anytime I can be here, you guys got me.
I hear, and what I'm also going to do is going to share some of the replay links in the WhatsApp group.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely take some time to do that. So I'll share some of the previous conversations there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I will let you guys finish, but I'm happy to be able to speak a bit.
No, thanks for sharing.
Thank you for sharing. Look, you have a good rest of the day.
Thank you as well. Bye-bye.
Be well. Okay. Yeah, have her coming in again. Let's see.
Maybe that was it. That's probably.
I think we're good now. All right, we're good. We're good. We're not echoing here, so it's got to be. I'll check on my end, but at least we got a gist of a conversation. So, my brother, I think we're gonna call it a conversation because you're wrapped up.
We're gonna wrap it up. You see, we're gonna wrap it up. So letting folks know, this is going to be a 2-part series. We're going to be speaking about education again next week. Unfortunately, this week we had a guest and he had to cancel. He had an emergency, so we may get him next week. I won't say who he is quite yet, but yeah, we'll be speaking about education for at least these 2 shows, maybe 3. But we want folks to definitely spread the word. Share some things on the Discord, and Dr. Vi will let you know other ways to share things. But yeah, tune in and giving thanks.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you. And Ryan says congratulations on the event, Shaquai. All right, sending good love here. So as we start wrapping up, let's do this. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. Hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Substack. If you want to promote your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that any of us are part of, email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. Join the Discord group. Email me to get that information. Kofi is on a lot of places. So email, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Also this on YouTube. I'm everywhere. And we got Kofi Morris, email, Get Well Stay Fit, Instagram, Kofi Coach _, and then Cosmic Wellness Group, and then also Facebook, Kofi Coach. I made it really easy now, folks. All you need to do is one link. That's it. Toplink.cc/ the Dr. Vibe Show.
One link. Okay.
One link will take you to everything that me doing everything. Yeah, we'll take you to everything that we're doing here. So
All right.
I just want to make sure that we've got everything covered here. I want to make sure all the contact information. Yeah, I think all the contact information got out. Yeah. No. I think the only one that didn't get out is mine. So let me just put this out now. And any community events that are upcoming that you know about?
You know what? Just in general, for folks to look out for TIFF. TIFF is coming up.
Yes.
So
Toronto National Film Festival. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the Caribbean Film Festival
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Led by, what's her name again now? Francis Solomon.
Yeah, so look out for that. So, for the moviegoers, quite a few things like that are happening. I know there is for those interested, there is an event to do with those who are working in, I guess, the social sector, and they want to focus on mental health. There's something happening at TMU through Tabono Institute. I might be able to pull it up in 2 seconds if you give me a minute here.
No problem. Take your time.
Yeah.
Shakoy says, thank you, Ryan. The only way says, appreciate the conversation, appreciate your back. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Again, you can watch replays of this conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show,
Right.
on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Right.
And also, you can check it out on, also it's on Paul's Facebook page. You can check it out also. And also his YouTube page.
Okay.
We're just waiting to see if Paul can get that last.
Yeah, you know what? The message got deleted, so I'm not gonna push it out because it might be a change. But that being said, I will definitely have it on my Facebook, promoting it this week, and on my Instagram, as long as everything's going on with the event. But again, it'll be Saturday at TMU.
All right. So live your life as a dream. If you dream it, if you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. My brother Sadat, hope you are better when we next come into contact with
you.
All right. God bless. Peace, well. Keep the faith, walk good. And brother Kofi, wherever you are, Kofi Coach, we hope you are fine and safe.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Let's.
Time that our parents, they're like, I have nothing to teach you. I don't know nothing.
My dad's at that point now. It says,
That's my point.
But I'm saying, no, Dad, you got lots more to give. You know how cold it is when these two brothers in their yard.
You know that. You know that. You don't know that, bro. You know
No
that.
joke.
I know we all have these things, but you know what? My go-to is this thing.
Wow.
Black book is in the back.
Black book.
Men talk, black book.